Good evening, Andy. Thanks for the opportunity, and you pushed me hard to come here.
Okay. So
Otherwise, we would not invest time to put some papers together.
correct. You are right.
Thanks for the opportunity in person.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
I think it is sometimes very it becomes very critical when we share information like this. All of us learn together as well, and a kind of I think barring the limitations of whatever digital media has, but then
Yes.
it allows us to interact by being within the confines of our home or office.
Correct.
Large gathering itself.
Yes. It actually gives opportunity for people all over the country to see the proceedings and then learn, because otherwise it was very limited this thing. So I think the opportunity now is thrown to all people all over the country. That's a good thing. And both the things are having its own plus and minus.
Yes, always there.
Always there. Correct.
So for me, this paper is about revisiting the books, revisiting the path of pumps and research again. Otherwise, I'm not in the subject for the last few years.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So that's the reason I said so this is where we try to learn from these sessions. That's all I believe.
True. 62 participants have joined. I think. Krishna Reddy sir, your mic is mute.
Krishna Reddy, you're on mute.
Yes, sorry. I think this type of interaction is definitely required, and this is the opportunity we are getting. Thank you, Rama.
Yeah. I think should we start, sir, or should we 1 or 2 minutes more?
I think
we can start so that people can join in due course.
Yeah, fine. That would be, because those who are logged in on time should not be disadvantaged.
Yes, correct.
They should get the opportunity of being on time,
Correct.
So, good evening to all the participants, and good evening the speaker of the day, Engineer Ram Babu and Engineer Krishna Reddy from Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, Hyderabad Center. In fact, Engineer Krishna Reddy Association have been doing a lot of work in terms of dissemination of knowledge, and we have been able to learn a lot of things from the members of ACCE during our interaction with them in their various projects. Conversation itself helps us in learning. So that is what we have seen, that consulting civil engineers, they throw a lot of insights into the various challenges that are there. And I'm sure that when a lot of insights come, a lot of solutions also come, and we are able to overcome that. So that has been a great deal of learning experience for us as an organization. So I would just like to invite Engineer Krishna Reddy Garu to just speak a few words before I introduce the speaker of the day. And over to you, sir.
So our Association of Consulting Civil Engineers India was started in 1985 by a group of consulting engineers for dissemination of knowledge, and then whatever advancements are happening all over the world, to bring them to our engineers, and then some futuristic designs can be done by all our members. That is the main aim. So I think in line with our ideals, we have invited Rambab Garu for sharing his experiences with modernization of different equipments that are being used for civil engineering, and particularly in concrete handling. So he has readily agreed, and we are very thankful to him for his gesture. And then I'll give the proceedings to Rambab Garu or Pillai Garu. Thank you.
Thank you. Anil sir, you are on the mute now. Anil sir, you're.
Okay, sorry. So thank you, Krishna Reddy Garu, and 89 participants have joined, and I'm sure that some of them would be joining, and some of them are also watching this proceedings through Facebook as well. So that adds up to this thing, because some of them are much more convenient through that media. So we have Engineer Cheru Rambabu, who is a graduate mechanical engineer with a diverse experience from various facets of engineering application. He has dedicated his energy and done a lot of study on the mechanization aspect in the construction infrastructure for the last 15 years. He has presented number of technical papers, almost 18 plus, and he has made about 50 plus presentations in India and across the world. And of course, he also has the pattern memberships in ACC, ICI, BA, and CIDC. And of course, the various kinds of projects that has been executed, ranging from irrigation projects to the tallest cooling towers, to the bridge and Kaleshwaram projects. And so a lot of infrastructure projects he has been involved in. And I'm sure that being civil engineers, we also need to have an idea of the mechanization aspect of it, because that will throw a lot of insights into our mind, because we should not be confined to, of course, the quality of materials alone, or say, for example, the quality of concrete alone. We must, break the barrier and go out and see what are the mechanical challenges that are there, while we either transport this material, or say, for example, handling concrete, what kind of effect it has on the quality of concrete when you use, when you say, for example, when you have this vertical transportation of concrete through multi-storied building, how does the quality change, and what are the machinery aspect that is related to it? I'm sure that all civil engineers must have an idea of this, and I'm sure that this webinar that we are having today would be a kind of eye opener for all of us, because we need to think from a mechanical perspective as well, to understand the challenges and then think about the solutions. So over to you, Engineer Cheru Rambabu, for your presentation, and I'm sure that all of us would enjoy this. And at the end of the presentation, we would be having a question answer session, which would again open up various avenues for all of us. Thank you so much for joining, and over to you, sir.
To all my colleagues and consulting the fraternity across the country, and I thank everybody who have just logged in and being a part of this discussion for the next 48 minutes to go with. The topic we have chosen is the handling of concrete, its advancements and the mechanization. And we would not like to change as long as the things are like status quo. So we are like forced to change. What brings in these changes are always external factors. It's not a request that I should improve and I should do it. These things come from outside in the form of a demand and the cost reductions, or something which endangers the environment. So I would attribute the advances in the concreting technology to mainly three aspects in terms of the speed of construction, the demand in the construction itself. As the population has exploded in the past years, from 1947, where in India we were 33 crores, today we are at 110 crores. So that explosion in the population also created a need and a demand for a roof on everybody's head. So these are two aspects which I would say, and the major aspect that we want to talk about is the environmental challenges that we think of. So if we have to evaluate any technology, we have to go through the environmental aspect, the costing of the material, and the speed of the construction with which we do. It's not only the cost and the speed of the construction, you also should think that it should be durable. The durability along with environmental friendly. So with these few words, I would like to take off into the domain which is not mine. The concrete is not my domain per se. So I would try to keep away from the concrete except to say how to place it. Maybe at times I may use a word called rheology, which is the flowability or the best way to pump of the concrete. That's only by definition. We also may attribute the progress in terms of the new inventions of the superplasticizers, which allow us to pump it and also which allow this concrete to be more durable because the water cement ratio is less in this case by adding the superplasticizers. With these few words, I would like to go ahead and talk about, I thought this would be for the next 1.5 hours, so I would correct it to say 45 minutes. What are we going to look at it? We are going to look at various case studies in terms of the gated villas, which are G+2 villas, and we are also going to look at a high-rise structure, which is also a gated community, which we will talk about G+23, G-2 and G+23. And in one complex, we have 12 such structures. Along with that, I would take you down to the NDCTs, natural draft cooling towers, canals, and the dams, where the placing of the concrete is as crucial as the concrete itself. I thought we would go with the precast industry and its application as well, but I am afraid if we have the time to go there. So, what are we going to see at the end of this 45 minutes? The methodology of the placing the concrete in all these scenarios, and the last 8 to 12 minutes we will allocate for your questions. If possible, if I can answer your questions, I would like to venture on to them. And now here we go to the first case study. Earlier we know our house mason who has built 100 houses, he says, I don't want an engineer, I know how to build a house. But today, the volumes are so big, the intricacies are so involved. We are talking about 603 villas in a 75-acre complex. This is like close to Hyderabad. The name of this project is called Akura. The contractor in this case is Aga Infra. So I took some inputs from them. I was also involved in the initial stages of this construction, where there are 3 types of layouts in a 275 square yard, 350 square yards, and 450 square yards, where the build-up area is around 3,600 to 4,665. All are triplex. That is ground plus 1 plus 2. That is G+2. So which means we are going to cast 3 slabs. So the challenges that we took up in this case is how to pour the concrete. What methodologies do we choose to get into the concreting? So then the first thing we did was to schedule what has to go in which sequence. The rafting of concrete, which is not high strength, under the 10 grade of concrete. And then each house, if we have to cast, on an average of 140 cubic meters per house. And this 140 cubic meters would not be cast all at a time. It would be casted in 6 different stages: columns plus slab, columns plus slab, columns plus slab. Which means we are talking about 7 pours, including the raft. The total of concrete in this case, in this case study that we are talking about, is around 94,000 cubic meter of concrete which has to be put in. So then this 92,000 cubic meters in terms of 7 pours in around 603 units. So on an average, if we have to complete this project within like 2 years, we took up the first benchmark as 450 days. How can we complete the casting of concrete, allowing in various like, stages for the superstructure to be built and the interiors to be made and all that stuff. So we chose to target 200 cubic meters per day of pouring at various stages. In some cases, it could be the columns. In some cases, it could be the slabs. In some cases, it could be the raft as well. But here again, the big challenge is about the differences in the strength of concrete. So we need to have 2 sessions at the batching plant, one for the raft and the other one for the columns and the concrete. M30 is what they choose to go with, the columns and the slabs as well. So in this case, talking about 200 cubic meters per day, we can complete the entire casting in 450 days. So the choice of picking up the batching plant is limited to using the plasticizers for which we had an attachment to it, the M20, the 20 mm of metal, which is the maximum which we could use, because at the end of the day, we had to use the boom placer at the site to pour the concrete into the columns and the slab as well. In this case, we also have taken up the assets of 6 transit mixers, which will transport the concrete from the batching plant to the place of concreting, and it would dump this concrete into the mobile boom placer. In this entire thing, we have only used 2 boom placers, 6 transit mixers, and 2 on a standby, which we thought we could hire them as and when the time needs up. So here, the mechanization is about the choice of the batching plant, which should serve you, even if it is a 45 cubic meter at a 80% efficiency, even if we work for, say, 8 hours a day. Of course, we also have to talk about the transportation process for the transit mixers to load, unload at various places. So in all this, we choose to have a 45 cubic meter batching plant, which is evident in this picture that we have shown. 6 plus 2 transit mixers, 6 we have bought it, 2 will be hired on time-to-time basis if the demand needs be. 2 boom places we have placed so that we will not waste time in terms of shifting the truck from one place to the other. So in terms of these villas, these are the only things that we have encountered with, and this is the mechanization plan as far as the placing of concrete is concerned. I have stayed away from talking about the M30 and its combination, superplasters and its combination, which I am not touching, and I should tell this to Krishna Reddy Garu, who said, stick to the placing of concrete. Now, the next case study is about a high-rise structure, which is an urban apartment complex, which is going to be positioned to the upper middle class, close to Hyderabad, close to the metro station, which is around 48 kilometers from the airport, from the outer ring road. And this complex is of 12 structures. Each structure is about -2 plus G plus 23, which means we are going to cast around 25 slabs. In this, the developer and the ownership have chosen to go with the by-one shuttering, which would enhance the production and the completion of the project within, say, 2 years. The Here we are talking about the raft dimension of each structure to around 40 like 4,435 cubic meter, to round it up to say like 4,500 cubic meter per structure. So which means we are talking about close to 54,000 cubic meters of the raft, which is for a height of almost like 2.5 meters as a raft. And here the challenge that we are forced to look up is that from the time of say go, we should complete this entire raft within 36 hours. That's where this consultant said, beyond 36 hours, I will not accept the structure. So we had to deploy 2 more outsourcing agents with the same mixed design to bring in from outside so that we could complete the raft within the time. Here in this project, we have chosen to go with 60 cubic meter batching plant, owing to the regular casting per floor of each structure. We are talking about 800 cubic meters per pour, because we are talking this as the Maivan, which is complete the shell and the core, which is the cast at one time. So here just for your information, there is a block 7 whose typical dimensions will be, the slab is around 17,375 square feet. The entire walls in the entire floor is close to 60,000 square feet, and the total volume of concrete that we should pour at one time, not exceeding 18 hours, is around 800 cubic meters. So here we face that challenge of how to invest in what type of batching plant. Here again, we should be reminded that the design of the batching plant depends on 3 factors. One is how many sets of Maivan are they using. Each floor has 17 typical apartments. In these 17 typical apartments, you have to have all the cast at one go. So here the promoters have picked up 3 such sets for typical layouts of the 4 sets of towers. The housing is varying between 875 square feet until 1100 square feet, from 2-bedroom to 3-bedroom apartments. So in all this, 800 cubic meters is what we are trying to pour as the concrete per pour. So which means we have to engage 276 such pours to complete this entire project. So which also means close to around 220,000 cubic meters of concrete have to be handled here. So after understanding that we have to have 3 sets of Maivan and 3 sets of special boom places. In this case, the boom places, I would like to give you, which all of you are aware of it, I know, but let me just take you through one of these. Where do I share this with? Let me share this. Excuse me for a moment. I'm just looking for those videos that I have looked at.
Sir, if it's on the desktop, you will have to move out of this. You will have to minimize the screen. Your mic is muted. I'll unmute it for a while. Are you able to see it on screen? It's not shared yet.
Yep. This is not sharing now.
1 second. I will move you out.
Are you able to see the
No,
book?
not yet. Give me a minute time, sir. No, not yet. I'll make you the presenter again.
Again, huh?
Yeah.
Is it an audio file, sir? Audio video file, is it? Suraj?
Sir?
Is it an audio video file?
No, we have not tried it earlier, sir.
Okay.
Ramababu, sir, can you start sharing it now?
I am able to see myself. Yeah, now I am sharing it.
Yeah.
Just looking at that video file.
Yeah. The minute you start sharing, your screen gets shared, and then you can identify where you have placed your audio video file and then play it, sir.
Okay, share.
We'll give it a little time. It's loading. I still see you on the screen. You'll have to share and first screen. You have to click on share and the first screen. Screen 1. No, it's not loading yet.
It's not. I don't know how to
It's
share
not sharing
this.
actually. Yeah.
The video which I wanted to share.
Yeah. You'll have to click on that share button. Should we try that, sir? Share button. Can you click on the share button at the top of the screen or bottom of the screen? Are you able to? You'll have to move the cursor. At the bottom of the screen, do you see?
Okay, somehow I'm not able to do it. Am I now audible on the screen?
Yeah, you're audible, sir, but your PPT is not shared yet. So
The
to share,
PPT is not getting shared.
yeah, so you'll have to share the screen first.
So where is my screen now? I lost it.
Okay,
Yep.
at the it should be at the bottom, sir. Do you see your mic? It should be at the bottom of the screen. As you move the cursor, you'll have to move the cursor for it to pop up.
Suraj, can you just move the ball to yourself and then bring it back to
Sure, sir.
Then I think he will be able to. I think probably he will move that ball.
Yeah, I'll do that, sir. Okay, now I move the presenter role back to Ramababu, sir. I'm making you the presenter, sir. As I make you the presenter, do you see it now, sir?
I have seen it now. Huh?
Yes, wonderful. Yeah, and now it's getting loaded.
Okay.
We'll give it a little time. It's still loading.
Now, okay. The Boom Placer, I thought I would play a video for you and for all the benefit of all the people here. And am I there now? Is the screen getting shared?
No. It's still not shared yet.
Except my video.
It's getting loaded.
Sharing settings says
You're able to see that share screen option?
people
It's
are
trying to share, but it's not getting
the
shared.
settings, it's what it says.
We'll try sharing it again. I'll move the ball back to myself and then roll it back to you, sir.
Yeah, now you can share it.
1 second. It's moving to you now. Yes, can you try it now? You'll have to share.
Yes.
Click on, yeah.
Okay.
Starting to share. It was wonderful. Yes.
So we were here talking about the pores that we are talking about.
Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, sir. Can you put it on slideshow, please? The icon next to negative button. Yeah, last one. Exactly. Wonderful. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
So here again, there are three sets of the strengths that we are looking at. For the raft, we are looking at M30. For the first two floors of the cast, because it's going to be on the Maivan, which is going to be like a shear wall all across, the first two floors, they choose to go with M60, and thereafter, until the top 20 floors, they're talking about M45. So here again, there's the time limits and the allocation of the batching plant, which has to do rafts at a given day, the first 2 or 3 floors in terms of M60, thereafter M45. So this allocation of time and the change for the mixed design also have to be accommodated. In this case, we have also added some attachments to the batching plants, which would automatically take in the plasticizers or the admixtures into it, along with each batch as a predefined quantities. Now, another big challenge is how to look at to pick up our batching plants. And if I have to do it with a boom placer, I need to know what type of the metals that I'm going to use, what is the maximum the size of the metal, which will not obstruct my pumping of the concrete. So we start with the pumping chain. The first thing is we talk about the feed controls, the multiple metals that we use, 10 mm metals, 20 mm metal and 15 mm metal with the usage of the fly ash or GGBS and the cement and the robo sand. All this when we define, then we come to the capacity. In this case, we choose to go with a 60 cubic meter batching plant with one substitute, with one more addition of like 45. So at any given time, we would be producing anywhere between 80 to 100 cubic meter in a given hour. And from here, we went to talk about how the pipeline should be laid and what, yeah? Somebody asking me something? Hello? Hello?
Continue, Rambabu Garu.
Yeah. So in this, we are also talking about what type of pipeline do we use and how do we lay them also. So we have given a screen which would allow you to look at the criteria to pick up a pump. So we talk about the number of strokes, the pressure which is higher on the piston side, lower on the end side where the concrete has to be poured. It is always mandated that where we pour, it should be on the lower bar. And the theoretical output of each batching, each pump that we are looking at is 66. On horizontal lines, they give you that theory. And when they start climbing heights, in this case, I would like to bring an example of the Taipei Tower. At the from the 80th floor onwards, the output of this pump was coming as 8 to 6 cubic meter per hour. 8 at 80 plus floor, and after the 100th floor, it started giving like 6 cubic meters per hour. Though the practical thing is at 66 cubic meters, but as the height rises, the cubic capacity of the pump will come down. So this is where we look at the chart and understand what has to be poured and what is the capacity of each pour. Accordingly, we'll also talk about the number of the stages of the pumping. So we accumulate all of them at one stage and then repump from there. In case of, say, Burj Dubai, they have 8 stages of pumping from the ground until the top when they went up. So after that, we also need to understand where our batching plant is and how do we take this pipeline, which should be permanent in nature until we cast the last floor of the last tower. So there's a general arrangement which should be of permanent in nature until we complete the project. So we have laid down some guidelines, which is the scientific way of getting more output of the pumpability of the concrete. The picture which you are seeing is from the case study where they have pumped up to 2.15 kilometers with one single stage. And you may have a question, when it is only 6 cubic meters, 6 cubic meters per hour, what happens to the rest of the concrete within the pipeline which is there? So we call it as driving the devil away. So when we are coming to the last stage of the concrete, we start putting these sponge balls with some coupling attachments, like followed by 3 sets. After that, a hard ball which comes, then we start pushing in, pumping in high pressured water. At the end of the top floor, when the sponge ball comes out, we stop pumping it and retrieve all this back so that our pipeline is again ready to use for the next pour to happen. So this is just the information which all of you are aware of. So in this urban apartment approach, there are 3 different methodologies that we are talking about. The raft concrete, where the metal capacities are much more and higher. The raft capacities are higher. When it comes to M60, it is up to the second or the third floor, which means -2, -1, G, +1 and +2, all of them will go with M60. After that is M45. And when we are talking about the boom placer, I would like to see if this can play. Okay, I'm not able to play this thing. So we'll move to the next case study about, okay, I was trying to complete on the urban infrastructure of the apartment complex. So we have chosen to go with 3 special purpose boom places, which are to be fitted in the lift shaft, which go along with the height as the height increases, which would be placed in the lift shaft. And 3 sets of Maivan shuttering. Each set is reused for close to 84 times, so as to complete the 276 pours. So with this, we move on to the next case, which is called as natural draft cooling tower. These are the things which all of us would have seen while traveling from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, or from Hyderabad to Chennai, or any other places where these are built. These are close to 180 meters in height, as wide as 120 meters in radius at the bottom, and which goes to the net around 60 meters as the perimeter for it, and then moves out to 100 meters. These are all the natural draft cooling towers. In earlier stages, this I am talking about 2007, 2012, where the famous contracting company called BGR Energy from Chennai have placed these hydraulic pusher bridges. These 2 on this picture, these are called as the hydraulic pusher bridges. This is the bridge between this tower and the rim of the cooling tower. In this, the advancement of the pouring of concrete is with respect to the hydraulic the jacks, which are also called as the jump forms. They would lift themselves up by 1.5 meter per day. But here we are constrained with the hardening of the concrete, which allows the next pour to happen. So in this case, we are talking about every other day we have to cast close to 200 cubic meter of concrete per pour. Earlier, they used to use these hydraulic pusher bridges. This particular site in case is at Mettur in Salem district. Here you see the picture. This is a twin cage multifunctional hoist. Underneath you see the bucket, which is 800 cubic centimeters of bucket, in which they used to either pump the concrete into this bucket on the ground floor, and this travels all the way up to the height of pouring. There you see this to be the concrete bucket. So this bucket would discharge all the concrete into this bucket at the tower. From there, we would put them into these trolleys which move on the rails below. So these rails go across the rim of the cooling tower, and hence they used to pour the concrete there. Now in the modern days, and the next stage after this hydraulic pusher bridges, they used to use 1.5 cubic meters per bucket of the concrete and use high capacity tower cranes to cast. The people to travel up to there have started using the curved hoist, which would take them up to the raft of pouring. Now of late, they started using the pump called 2800, which is from the Schwingstatter, and equivalent from Putzmeister or Lexani. And with this pump, they can pour the concrete every day 200 cubic meters without any problem. And these pumps are now pumping up to 180 meters of height, of the vertical height. So this is where we're talking about. This is a very typical structure where the concrete is hardly around 40,000 cubic meters from the raft to the columns for which the rim has to stand, and the cooling tower itself. Here the intricacy or the complexity of this is to pour along the rim and all in a day, so that there is a equality in the strength of the concrete which acquires on an everyday basis. So this is the third case we spoke about. Not but the least, we would like to go into the irrigation dams, where the pour of the concrete is on an average of 1,000 cubic meters per day. So which here you also have to use the 80 mm and above metal sizes in the concrete, where the strength of the concrete is not beyond M30. It may go from M25 to M30 depending on which site you are doing it. And you are talking about at least close to 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh of cubic meters at between two gates. So that is a complexity where we have to pour the concrete. In these cases, they started using the conveyors, the conveyor belts from the production of concrete to the place of concrete where they have to pour it. You see this? These were extensively used in 3 gorges dams in China, and I have been a witness to the GVK who did this Tehri Dam close to Srinagar in Uttarakhand. There they used to use the concrete conveyor close to around 800 meters, and the pouring is around anywhere between 150 to 200 cubic meters per hour. That's the way they poured it. Here, there is no restriction of the size of the metal. They used to use up to 80 mm to 100 mm at times. And it's all close to 100, the slump of 1 or less than 1 also. Because they have to go just there and get settled there. So that's where this sort of mechanization was used in those big sites. Now, coming to the other typical application of the concrete, where we are talking about the canal lining, which is a very typically low volume, but lengthwise you talk about like 6 kilometers to one contractors, 8 kilometers to another contractor and all that stuff. And here, the choice of the batching plant is restricted to the paving capacity of the canal pavers. In this case, this picture which I am showing you are from a company called Unisteel from Ahmedabad, where they are the pioneers in these canal linings. It paves along the canal 10-meter width and 10 meters of the banking with a slope almost close to 60 degrees from the bottom to up. So here the capacity of this paver is 30 cubic meter. But again, if you see this entire length from one end to the other end, the challenge is to bring the concrete within time, within say 15 minutes of time, to the place of pouring where it has to be paved also. In these cases, we always recommend to go with the batching plants which are either mobile themselves or on the trucks. In most of the cases, they use Ajax Fiori, where they have these the metal, the sand, and the cement at every 200 meters as heaps and lumps, where it goes, picks up its own concrete, prepares it, and then comes and pours. And these are close to the 4 cubic meters of the highest capacity. Likewise, if you use 3 or 4 Ajax Fioris as a brand name, I'm not trying to promote it, that's the popular brand name that we are talking about. That is being now manufactured by Schwingstetter, also by the Mecons and Apollo also. So, either you use them, which is close to like 40 lakhs per unit, or you take one batching plant which is like self-mobile, the mobile concrete machine, which can be shifted every half a kilometer as the canal lining progresses. So the challenge here is to prepare it and bring it onto the site. Here also the metal restrictions are not so heavy. You can use heavy metal, heavy size of the metal up to say like 40, and it is directly poured from the transit mixer onto the canal. At best, if the canal is much wider, they use what is called as a diverter gantry conveyor. So that is one equipment which is now out of sight and out of mind. Now, last but not the least, I would like to bring in these new paradigms that are going to come in, which are they called as the laser screed vibrators. All these days we have used the casting as roofs only. The roofs are also the floor for others. My roof is the floor for the person who stays above me. So now the new paradigm that we are coming up with is how to do the roof at one go so that you don't have to invest in the flooring on that roof after you come and prepare it. I have brought in a couple of videos here, but unfortunately I am not able to play them. Like Suraj, if you can allow me to share this video, Hello?
Hello.
Suraj, is it possible to share the video?
No, he'll have to go to his desktop screen, sir.
Huh?
Ramababu sir, you'll have to go to your desktop screen and see if it works here. Here it's not working.
Yeah, it's not working. That's what it looks like. It is on this as a. Am I being shared now?
No, PPT is getting shared.
Screen is we are able to see.
The PPT down, I have a attachment.
Link. No, that you yeah. Click on that, sir. Yeah.
It's not going.
No, double click. Double click.
It goes to the other slide. Fine. I am illiterate in terms of using this technology. Let me be there. So this video I would like to share from the desktop, but I'm not getting to share. How do I do it? However,
You'll have to close this and then try again.
Yeah.
You'll have to close this, sir. You'll have to stop sharing.
Okay.
Then click on share again.
Stop
Okay, now
sharing.
click on share again.
1 second, I'll come back to it. 1 second.
Don't open the PPT. Keep your desktop screen on so that the minute you start sharing, your desktop screen gets shared.
Huh? No, Rata sharing. Share.
Screen one.
Okay, for some reason, I would take it as my handicap, not able to share it. And I think I have come to the end of my presentation with various share now screen.
Now minimize this, please, sir.
Yeah.
Can you minimize? We can see your screen now. Can you minimize the screen?
Screen.
Yeah, so that we go to your desktop. Okay. Minimize this completely. Yeah.
Here is the desktop.
Okay.
Are you able to see the
Yeah.
desktop?
Yeah, I can see your screen now. 2-4 concrete pouring. Yeah. Click.
Yep.
Yes. Now we can see it. Maximize the screen, please. Maximize the screen. The voice wouldn't be there, but we can see the screen. Voice you will have to lend, sir. Yeah, we can see the screen now. Over to you, sir.
So, are you able to get my voice?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. You can lend the voice. You can talk.
So
Thank you.
this is the new paradigm. In place of the special purpose booms, maybe these are going to take over in terms of the slab casting, and the same slab can be used with this laser screen vibrator, laser screen, where it can give you a smooth finish of the slab, which will become your floor. So there are going to be new changes which are going to come in fast. And this sort of new equipment will revolutionize the way you look at the construction for the years to come tomorrow. So this is where I come to the end of my presentation, and I'm open to your questions. Randy? Okay. I think we are running out of time. Hello?
We're having still time, Rambabu.
Okay, I am now done with my my sort of presentation. I am now open to your questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for the presentation. In fact, one thing which struck my mind was that, how do you actually work backwards? Say, for example, you were telling about the total volume of concreting. and then you work backwards, because in terms of the batching plant capacity, and then you spoke about the number of transit mixtures, and then the boom placer, things like that. So how do you work backwards, based on the volume of concreting? Is there any that would help most of us, because that was one of the query that was being asked. Is there a particular procedure for that?
No, I think all the consultants, they give you the schedule of the pour. The schedule of the pour comes once they define the process of the casting. If it is in situ, then it's a different like cycles and different volumes of pour for the slab, which comes in various facets of the project. If it is the tunnel formwork, which is much more usage of the concrete vis-a-vis the in situ. If it is the Maivan, it is much more in volume when compared to the tunnel form or the in situ. Because in that case, in the case of aluminum formwork, all the walls, everything is cast. You cannot do anything after that. In case of the tunnel formwork, internal walls have to be built up. So we know how much of the concrete has to be poured in that and at what stages. Once you start pouring in the concrete, either in the Maivan or the tunnel, it should be done once and for all. You cannot say, I'll pour half today, half tomorrow. You cannot happen. So depending on that volume and the timing of the pour, we will pick up what has to come in.
So that's very interesting, because a lot of the working has to be done in terms of planning, because you are investing a lot of money in terms of machinery at every level, and it brings to my mind one of those books which was written about the capacity building, how they work backwards and then they see where the constraint is. In fact, the theory of constraints is a very interesting book. I am sure that many of them who are in the mechanical engineering would have, because they try to find out where the constraint is and try to remove that constraint, and then maybe debottleneck and then see how it can be done and all those things. So that was coming to my mind. That's what
I would like to add a word here.
Okay.
Today, the construction is a joint effort between the chemical engineer, the mechanical engineer, and the
Very
civil
true.
engineer.
Exactly.
So there's a thin wall between these three people. Unless
And I think the success of the project will be the integration of all the disciplines, rather than making it confined to a particular discipline. I think integration is what is required, and that defines the success of the project as well. Even the material science engineer, now we at Ramco Cements, we have been manufacturing different types of cement for various applications. Like say, rather than telling the type of cement, our engineers go and try to find out what is the type of concrete that you are using. And then based on the type of concrete, you recommend the type of cement, rather than saying that PPC is good for all works or Portland slag cement is good for all the works. We try to find out what is the grade of concrete. If it is M20, do you need a low heat of hydration? So what you said is correct. Even apart from mechanical and other engineers, even material science engineers is going to play a vital role. Especially in in this. And I think integration of discipline is what is required. Because
in HVAC and plumbing also, there are so many facets which have come in. It's not just gravity anymore. It is forced. It is forced draft these days.
So what about, sir, one more question which has been asked is regarding the economy and quality, because when you try to introduce mechanization, one is the investment. So the cost is coming into play, and the other is the quality. Of course, quality is guaranteed if suppose it is being done properly. But how do you actually maintain a balance between both? Because the promoter who is going to invest in this.
Okay. The equipment that you are going to buy for is not for one particular project. The return on investment, if you want to write off in one project, no, it doesn't work like that. This equipment can be used for the next 15 years or 20 years, where you talk about 8 to 12 projects to come in. And the immediate benefit that you would look at is the number of heads at the site will get minimized. One video which I wanted to show, let me just see, having gone there.
That boom placer, sir, the initial one, is it?
Yeah, I was trying to look at this. It is not going there at all. So this video will show how this boom placer will help you pour across in just say 3 hours or 4 hours with the help of two people. One who looks at how to cast the entire slab, the other one who is just trying to wipe the slab to remove those water bubbles or air bubbles. Two people, earlier we used to see hundreds of people on the slab. And then their weight, it would have the collapse also at times.
This one remark by Mr. Pavan Kumar, he says supply chain optimization of material handling equipment, assembly and disassembly of equipment, and on-time inventory of materials in situ.
Please come in. Please come in again.
Mr. Pavan Kumar has made a comment saying that supply chain optimization of material handling equipment, assembly and disassembly of equipment, and on-time inventory of materials in situ. I'm not able to understand what exactly he's talking about. I think probably he's talking about the optimization of supply chain.
Yeah. In this case, there is the change management with the promoter and the builder and the contractor as well have to invest in, which is called as the change management.
Okay.
Along with your civil engineer, there should be a mechanical engineer who should take off the assembly, disassembly, and the maintenance. And one supervisor who should plan ahead of time what is going to be the course for the next 3 days, next 4 days. So you're talking about one as the mechanical maintenance, other one is to plan the materials and the upkeep of the materials. So this is the change management which should come at each side.
So thank you so much, sir, for that insightful presentation. And I would like to invite Engineer Krishna Reddy to speak a few words about his opinion, sir. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. And I'm sure that the various case studies that you had covered, it would have benefited all of us because you spoke from a very practical level. So that was the, beauty of this presentation.
Thank you, Rambab Garu and Pillai Garu for this wonderful presentation. Rambab Garu, we have touched upon all types of scenarios and what we are encountering day to day. So particularly, I just want to ask one question. The high-rise buildings, when you are telling the so many stages of pumping is there, what exactly is inbuilt? The pump is having so many stages, or how you are in stages you are able to pump for high-rise buildings?
As I told you, in Burj Dubai, we had 8 repumping stations.
Okay.
From ground up to say 200 meters, there we would assemble all this material will go into another pump, and that pump starts pumping to the next stage.
Okay.
Until it reaches the 1 kilometer stage at the top of the Burj.
Okay.
In our Hyderabad, the tallest structure which is going to come up is 45 floors, which is the first of its kind. Here, we may see a 2-stage pumping. Horizontal laga particularly.
Okay.
Then we take it to the next level, say up to 22 floors. And from 22 floors, we regroup this concrete and then put it to the top floors.
That means another pump will be there at that level.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then you make it. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
I should say one word, Krishna Reddy Garu.
Yes, sir.
You have given me an opportunity to revisit this subject.
Okay.
I am learning in the process of sharing it with you.
Okay, thank you. Actually, we were after you for so many days for delivering this lecture. So at last, I think you have obliged us, and then you have given it very successfully, and a lot of participants have come, and then it is a very wonderful presentation, Rambab Garu. We thank you very much. And Pillai Garu also, thank you very much for supporting always, both physical and virtually.
Oh, thank you so
all
much.
our programs. Okay.
Oh, in fact, we at Ramco Cement believe in such kind of interaction with construction professionals.
Yes,
and I'm sure that, we would also like to get in touch with Rambabu Garu again, just to see, his opinion on the properties of concrete.
Yes.
You know, because that is very important. Although he's a mechanical engineer, but I think he would be having a lot of challenges he would have faced with respect to machinery and material properties and how we can work together. I
Yes,
think
yes.
that will take us a long way because you know, this kind of interaction which Krishna Reddy Garu you have given us
Yes, sir.
from the Hyderabad Center,
Thank
you
you.
know, it's really, you know, it benefits all of us, and I'm sure that my team of civil engineers, Mr. Srinivas, he was very excited about this. In fact,
Yes, yes, he is instrumental in making all this to happen, and I thank Srinivas Garu for helping us.
thank
And
you so much.
Take this
Rambab Garu,
opportunity
I
to
think
thank
you can share.
Suraj. I take this opportunity to thank Suraj, who has been hand-holding me for last 2 days. And thanks to Anil and thanks to all the participants. If there's anything that you want to talk to me, you can put it on my email, ram@cmac.co.in. If I want to type it,
I'll type it, sir. You can just tell me RAM.
@
Okay.
CMAC
CMAC. All right.
.co.in.
.co.in. So I have just typed that email ID.
Yeah.
And in case we get any emails, we will also forward it to you, sir.
My mobile number 93482
Just a minute, sir. Mobile number also I'll just put
93482
93482. All right.
11
11
464.
464. All right. I've just typed that.
To answer all your queries, and I can also handhold you on your projects.
Wonderful, sir.
Thank
That's
you very
great.
much.
And
Thank you
also,
so much.
Rambab Garu, at this time, I can request you. You are having a lot of equipments for other material handlings also, like reinforcements and then metal and other things. I think you can give us some lecture on those aspects also, so that a lot of things are to be transported vertically up. So not only the concrete, other items also. I think you can help us. What are the other equipments that are available at another?
At your beck and call.
Yes,
No,
yes.
if it's
Thank you.
okay, we can have one more presentation, sir. Sometimes next week or next to next week, whenever you're free, we can
So-
schedule one more presentation. And
Okay.
at the same time, we will be putting this also on our YouTube also, so that, you know,
Thank you very much.
queries. And we will also share your contact details. So let me also
Thank you very
thank
much.
all the participants who have been who took of their time to join us virtually. And I would also request all of you to contact the to take note of the mobile number as well as the email ID of the speaker, who has been able to give us a lot of insights, and he's having a lot of details also with him. So I'm sure that he has offered all of us to given this offer to help all of us in our projects. So the kind of machinery that is available nowadays in the construction sector, I think we need to make use of it. That was an invaluable presentation by Rambabu Garu, and we look forward to see you again, sir. Thank you so much. Have a nice
Thank
weekend.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.